All right, gang. So in this course, we're going to cover the moneyness. Money, money, money. So what is the moneyness? The moneyness is going to be very important for us to actually go further in the course through the strategy selection. So it's going to help us to determine our strategies that we're going to choose on that particular stock with the options. And also for referencing the states of the options itself. So the state, when I say referencing, meaning like, you can call out, or if you're hearing, me communicating that, hey, I'm selling a out of the money spread, or I'm buying an in the money call, you understand what that means and why I'm doing what I'm doing, right? Why did I choose that strategy and at those particular strikes? So a lot of new traders, they always get kind of confused of which strike should I choose. So when you understand, this is going to help you to choose the right strikes, okay? So quick story, back in the day, I used to be in the music industry, and as a young producer, I did not understand the music language. And so when I had my band and I had my singers trying to communicate with them what I needed for them to produce, it was a nightmare. It would be like, wow, wow, wow. And that was terrible, right? So I had to go learn music theory, right? So when I learned music theory, I was able to come back to the studio. I was able to communicate that with my musicians. I would say, hey, play me a 2-6-1 progression in the key of E. And they would go and begin to play because they understood what that is. It's like the language, right? And so with options, it works the same way. That language is going to be the moneyness. And so options, they're either going through the three different states in their life, kind of like a solid liquid gas. That's a state, right? So with options, they're going through in the money, at the money, or out of the money. So you may see the abbreviations, ITM. And ITM stands for in the money. ATM stands for at the money. OTM stands for out of the money, okay? So those are the three different states that the options are going through. And the options chain on our platform does all this for us. It makes it really easy, so you don't have to crunch any numbers or anything like that. All you have to do is just look at the chain, and you can actually see it, okay? So if we take a look at our options chain here, we're looking at Apple stock again. The options chain here has this, and again, we're using a white background, so it's different if you're using a black background. On the white background that we're using here, the yellow shade is in the money. It represents the strike prices that are in the money, okay? If they're white, then that means that they are out of the money. They don't have a shade, okay? They're out of the money. And so if we were using a black background, this would be shaded like a bluish color, right? And then the out of the money would be like a grayish or a black color. But the blue is the shaded portion, right? If you're using a black background. And so that's how you get able to quickly look at it and tell what's in the money and what's out of the money, okay? Now, on the call side, it works differently from the put side. So we'll go over that here. So on the call side, the in the money, okay, is going to be any number, any strike price that is lower than the current stock price. So right now, the current stock price is at $267. So all these numbers that's under $267, they're all in the money for the call side. Okay, so the lower strike prices are in the money for the call side. Now, if the strike price is above the current stock price on the call side, then it is going to be classified as out of the money. So we have that white shade, okay? And then it works the opposite direction on the put side. So on the put side, if the number is the strike price itself is higher than the current stock price, then it's going to be classified as in the money, and it's highlighted in gold. All right, all these numbers are in the money. All these strikes are in the money. Now, if the strike price is lower than the current stock price, then it is going to be considered out of the money on the put side. So just understand that calls work a little different from puts, because you remember that the rights that we are looking at, we have the right to buy on the call side, and then we have the right to short or the right to sell stock on the put side. So two different rights, so they actually work a little opposite. So that's why you see that options chain, the shaded portions are opposite, and then the not shaded portions are they're basically opposites, okay? So we just went over in the money, and we went over out of the money. What is at the money? At the money is going to be right at the money. It's going to be the closest price, the closest strike price to the underlying stock price as of right now. So $267 is where it's at right now. Well, the closest price is at $265. On the options chain, the at the money strike price is always at the middle, and it's the same strike for the call and the put side. So it's going to be right here in the middle, and as this stock price changes, this is going to change. The at the money is going to change. So you see it's always in the middle, okay? I'll take this a little step further so you guys can understand this. I have to introduce to you two more concepts. So we're going to take our layout tab, and then we're going to go over the position, intrinsic and extrinsic, default here. And as we change this, it's going to actually give us a different view. It's going to have the intrinsic here that we need to focus on and the extrinsic that we need to focus on. Okay. And I'm just using this for illustration purposes so that you guys can understand what's going on with the moneyness, right? How do we come up with this? So to make it simple, intrinsic value means the real value of that option. It means that what's the real value of it? Okay. And that real value is, what's the real value of this strike if I was to exercise my right now? Okay. If I exercise my right now, is there any, money for me, right? So if it has some money value, a monetary value, then that means it's in the money. Simple as that. And if it doesn't, that means it's out of the money. So if you look at our options chain, we look at the intrinsic value, we can see all these numbers here, and they're all in the yellow shade, right? And then if we look at the out of the money, we'll see that those all zero. All zero. So that means that they don't have a real value. They're out of the money, okay? Just to quickly introduce you to extrinsic value is time value, basically. So it's a mixture of time and volatility, but this is a different value, meaning that the more time you have, the more valuable the options as time continues to progress close to your expiration. There is a value that's associated with that. So it's time value. For the moneyness, what's important is the intrinsic value. Okay, intrinsic value is the important thing here because we want to know, does it have real value if I exercise my right now? So let me show you this real quick. Remember, on the call side, we have the right to buy the stock. Okay. The right to buy the stock. On the put side, we have the right to short the stock. Okay. So that's important to understand. So if we took any of these strikes, say if I took the 260 strike and I wanted to exercise my right, okay, to buy those shares at $260 right now, what is the current price trading at? Well, it's trading at $267. So that means that if I buy 100 shares, that's the one option contract, for $260, I can immediately turn around and sell it for a profit because it's currently trading at 267. So I can make $7 profit times 100 shares, right? Immediately upon exercising my right. So that means that it has a real value. Intrinsic here, it tells you right now it's worth $7.18. This is going to be changing as we see. So that's the real value right there, right? So that's letting me know that it has an intrinsic value. So anything that has an intrinsic value is in the money, okay? It means that it's in the money, okay? So all these have intrinsic value. All these lower strike prices, because if I buy it at $255, I'm in the money. If I buy it at $250, I'm in the money. Any of these lower strike price for a call side, I am in the money. Let's say if I actually was to buy an out of the money strike. Say if I bought the 275. I bought the 275, okay? If I bought the 100 shares for $275 and I was to try to sell it back right now, well, it's only going for $267 in the market. So what that means? That means that I'm going to lose money. Therefore, I am out of the money with this strike. So this is an out of the money strike, okay? It doesn't have a real value. It has no intrinsic value. That's the same on the call side. Any number that's higher than the current stock price, they're all out of the money. They don't have any real value. Now, they do have a time value, okay, but they don't have a real value, an intrinsic value. So that's why this is out of the money. Now, on the put side, it works a little differently, right, because you have the right to short the stock or open your position as a seller, and the goal is to buy it back at a lower price, but still buy low, sell high, okay? But it's just changing the transaction to, hey, I'm going to sell first. I'm going to start, it's kind of like pre-selling. I'm going to sell first, and then I'm going to buy the merchandise back at a lower price, right? So that's what the put side give you the ability to do that. So say the in the money here, let's go to the shaded portion here. All these strikes that are higher than the current stock price are in the money. And why are they in the money? Because if I were to exercise my right to short the strike price, let's say we took the 275 strike, if I was to short it at 275 right now, and then I were to immediately buy it back at $267, which is a lower price, then that means that I have made profit. I have made some money. So therefore, this strike has it says 788 intrinsic value, and it's changing because it's live. But it's just showing me that it has a real value, because if I were to actually exercise my right, then I would make money immediately. Okay. So it's the same for any of these strikes that are higher. Okay. All of these are in the money on the put side. Now, so if we go to the out of the money, if I was to short at $260, right? 260 strike. If I exercise my right to short these stocks at 260, and I was to try to buy it back, okay, I would be buying it back at a loss because I got to go and buy it for $267, okay? But I sold it at $260. So I can't make money that way. I have lost money. I'm out of the money. I need to short it at a higher price and buy it back at a lower price. So that is the importance of the moneyness, and that's how we have the moneyness. And this is going to be really important when we actually go to our strategy selection courses, when we're choosing our strategies of how we actually put those together.